Hello, I am Chris Williams, and I'm here with another review. But before that, I want to address a problem I had with my last one. Apparently, Captain Marvel, issue 4, the one where she fights Rogue, does take place in an alternate future. So those clothes where they look like they're from a dystopian future movie does fit the story. And if all the characters are irredeemably bad or boring. I'll try not to make mistakes again, but let's move on to this review. And this comic, Prisoner X, Age of X, well, the cover is boring. It just has Bishop and the others just looking at the viewer. Well, they look but like they're behind bars, and there's no real background to speak of, just a bunch of the shadow of prison bars. The artwork by Patch Ziegler and Brian Rebar is good, but it's a boring cover. And the first page is once again another page just telling you who worked on this comic book. Writer Vita Ayala, artist German Peralta, and color artist Mike Spicer. Yes, I've rung this up before and I do it again. This is bad. You should open up a comic book with a full page spread. And the true first page has Bishop being escorted into the Danger Room prison complex. Location unknown. That's an old dog bone if I ever read one. Prisoner Lucas Bishop. Bishop's full name. And he's dressed in a green prison uniform, and it is rather boring looking. I could have used to use real prison uniform like an orange one. I think it would look a bit better. And of course he meets the warden, who is Forge. While he's being flunked by two flunkies to either side of him in faceless masks. We don't know if these are real men or just robots. And he takes Bishop to his prison cell. Bishop looks, well, he doesn't look very manly. He looks sort of sad and lonely, like he just had his heart broken. Well, that's just a bother. At least they gave him back his muscles, and he's at least 7 foot again. And Bishop, while he's in his prison cell, has a flashback to when he was working for the Axis in the future. Now, this is wrong. As far as I understand it, the Axis worked after the Sentinels were destroyed. So, as far as I know, Bishop only saw Sentinels when he was a kid during the Summer's Rebellion. And this Sentinel reaches out, and that's where his dream ends, because he wakes up with a start. This happens a lot in this comic, where people have flashbacks to things that really happened in their lives. Well, I wouldn't say this really happened, because I'm pretty sure Bishop never fought Sentinels when he was working for the Axis. The Xavier's Security Enforcers, which was a police force made of mutants in the 2070s. And here we see Bishop being greeted by the other prisoners, and they all look at him suspiciously, and they talk behind his back, saying how even the X-Men are sending their rejects here. And what happens? Bishop ends up behind a young black woman with blonde hair, who turns out to be, of all things, his little sister, Shard, who I'm pretty sure is dead. It turns out this is a hallucination he's having. Something is happening which causes certain prisoners to hallucinate and see things from their past. And he asks her, "Do I know you?" She tells him, "You tell me." So there's a good chance that Shard is going to return from the dead now. Okay, fine. The artwork here by German Peralta is very good artwork. I wish he had better coloring, though. And he gets pushed aside by Gabby, Honey Badger. And he just says, "Patience is a virtue, kid." And I suppose that's better than saying, "Move aside, little girl." Well, I'm trying to say it without cussing. "Move aside." Then he gets suitably harassed by Beast, who is apparently the overseer or the father figure to a bunch of the younger female mutants. That's great. So I find that a bit creepy because they're in prison. Usually when you see relationships like this, it's usually because they're basically sleeping with each other. And I really hate this. He tells him he did nothing to Gabby. She just pushed him aside. And Beast says, Don't ever touch her. Now that you mention it, I could use another portion of meat. He also says to Bishop he threatens to eat him. And Diana Moonstar, Mirage, comes to get between them and settle the fight before anyone can get hurt. Now, the collars they wear does suppress their mutant abilities, but it does nothing to take away Beast's claws, or at least those incredibly sharp nails he has at the end of his fingers. So he still has a weapon, even though he probably be wearing some sort of gloves that covers them. Later on, Bishop is looking over the other mutants and he begins to remember things. He watches Gabby as she plays basketball and he remembers her being Honey Badger. I've never seen this issue, but apparently he remembers this. We go over certain events I'm pretty sure I've never heard of before. So we see Bishop talking to Honey Badger and he asks if she knows him, and she says that she pretty much doesn't. Though she does say that she could kick his butt in basketball, apparently. Bishop here is a bit unnerved and doesn't know what's going on. Diana Moonstar decides to talk to him, try to calm his nerves, because she sees that he's visibly upset. And he tells her that he's seeing things, that he's remembering things that he's never lived through. And she says, yeah, I know what you mean, because I'm also seeing things. I get memories of things that have happened. But I'm pretty sure I've never lived through them. I remember being, well, here I'll just say she remembers being one of the New Mutants. She also remembers being one of the Asgardian Valkyries, riding her winged horse. And I gotta tell you, this is good artwork, but I really wish it was in a better comic. The story here by writer Vita Ayala, it's just a bit bland and boring. There's nothing that really takes place here. This could be a backup story in a comic book. And Bishop is attacked by Beast, who really cerebrally slashes his back pretty badly. And this is where the comic really falls apart. Bishop should be at least in a massive amount of pain as Beast puts his foot on his head, saying, "Do not go near Gabby," while Gabby, Honey Badger, just cheers on the fight going on. And this is not very good. This portrays Beast as a moronic idiot. He's attacking her because he probably thinks Bishop's a pedophile or something, even though he's the one who apparently is shacking up with a bunch of little girls, or at least protecting them. So that looks bad. I really don't like it. This makes everything about Beast look bad. And he gets shocked and unconscious while the guards use their shock tasers to knock him unconscious, and he goes unconscious with a rah. Later on, because of the incident, every prisoner is said to go back to their cells for the day, and we see Beast being led away where the other prisoners go back to their cells. Bishop is up there going back to his cell. He's up on the higher level, and you see Diana Moonstar over to the right. Bishop goes back to sleep, and he continues to have hallucinations. This time he's dreaming about villains. He's dreaming about other villains. This time the Shadow King, who's apparently part spider in this dream, saying, well, what do we have here? Step into my parlor, won't you? Being suitably villainous. And then he sees Apocalypse killing the X-Men, even X-Men like X-23 probably has never met before, but somehow has memories of. And he sees his sister Shard being killed by a Sentinel. She did not die from being killed by a Sentinel. She was killed by Fitzroy, the time-traveling mutant, Bishop's arch-enemy. And he wakes up and he sees a letter. And he looks at it. The dream is real, the reality false. Get out. And this comic ends on a lame note, and it pretty much fits the comic because this has been a lame comic. I didn't really enjoy it. It was just bland. It was average as much as you could possibly get. This wouldn't even really work on second thoughts as a backup story. This comic should not exist. It should have been part of a comic that was telling the stories of a bunch of X-Men, showing where Bishop was during that comic. He did not need a series of his own telling such a boring story. One last note. If Shard was killed by the Sentinels, I never read it. As far as I know, when she was alive, she was killed by Fitzroy. When she was a hologram, she was again killed by Fitzroy. So I'm pretty sure I don't know how this really ends. So Shard could have died either way. Thank you. If you like this review, subscribe, leave a like, and leave some comments down below. I'll be back again tomorrow with another review. So bye.